You'll see it coming up here soon. David is crying his eyes out. He's literally bawling. Unbelievable. Put them all back here. You don't get a single one of them. Put them back right here.
Open your eyeballs. You're gonna miss the big, beautiful view.
Okay, we're going over the big, beautiful bridge to start with. Then I'll go into my mayhem. It's really funny actually, but I'm having fun.
I can't see anything.
My daughter-in-laws. You know what's really awesome to be a grandfather and to be a father-in-law? To have two daughter-in-laws that love me so much. Here comes the big, beautiful bridge, you guys. We're going to go way up, almost 1/4 of a mile in the sky. They've had 15 buses. No, just never mind. I don't want to get David freaking out here.
What?
Never mind.
What?
Never mind now.
Oh, is that the bridge right over there?
Yep, that's the big, beautiful bridge. That's the big, beautiful bridge.
You see how big it is?
It's huge. That's nothing to the bridges around the...
It's about the size of the Empire State Building. No, is it? I can look at it right now. Does it look very big? No, very big.
I better have both my hands on the steering wheel, because if I lose control, we'll slam right into the thing and fall right into the ocean. And David would have a very bad day. You always can tell that's Jess or Missy, her single. Family feuds. Yeah, we got, the problem with my family is all the women had their children in the month of June. July. Everybody's in July. So we got 9 kids in July. And I'm going to make a new rule next year. I'm going to be telling about the new rule next year. Okay? Because I'm going to be laying the law down next year.
No. Come on, look. Give me a blanket back.
Here we come. Here we come to the big, beautiful bridge. It's a beautiful bridge. It's a big, beautiful bridge.
David,
it's a big bridge. It's a big, beautiful bridge.
Ready, David?
Here it comes.
Are you ready? Go look out there.
Here comes the big, beautiful bridge.
It's 11 miles.
Look at how big this is. Oh my guys, we're going straight up into the heavens. Here we go. We're going on to a big, beautiful bridge. That used to be the old bridge right there. They tore that down. And it's not very big.
It's quite big. Are we even going to make it up there?
Oh yeah. We might not get up there. The car might slide back down.
Let's move on to this side of the road.
I'm going to put a little power in it. I want to get up into this bridge. There we go. Now we're going up, baby. We're going up the bridge. Here we go. We're a-climbing. We're a-climbing. We're a-going up the bridge. Here we go. We are climbing. We are climbing. We are going really big. Here we come. We are going up the bridge. We are going higher and higher. We are higher. We are higher. We are getting to the highest point soon. We are getting to the highest point soon.
I wonder if people walk up this bridge.
We're getting to the highest point soon. The highest point soon. Here comes the highest point. We're coming to the highest point. The highest point almost. We're almost there. And we are now almost to the highest point right there. bridge right there, those two. Now we're coming back. Ridiculous. Right here.
I don't want to carry it without.
Okay, we're going over another bridge. It's older. No, not until it's 100% charged.
97.
Hey, are any doors open or windows? Well, that was where all our cool air was going out. '75 goes all the way to Key Largo. Well, it goes all the way to 95. It connects. Now, here's the thing. If I really was going to do something spontaneous, would be to drive the camper down to Key Largo. Take the camper all the way to the end of the Keys and drive back. That would be the ultimate trip. Literally drive to the very end of the Keys and then come all the way back. Don't forget about Bryan's Bargains. Don't forget about Bryan's Bargains. Bryan's Bargains. We got big sales this weekend. Bryan's Bargains. ProTinkerToys.com. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the notification button. I am Bryan Young. I'm a grandfather. I got 2 daughter-in-laws that just absolutely adore me. You know, it's one thing to have a father-in-law that is a father-in-law, but you have a father-in-law that just loves his daughter-in-laws, okay? Now, one daughter-in-law, well, both of them are about the same in the sense of one is awesome and the other one is awesome too. They're both awesome.
You're acting insane.
Because my daughter-in-laws, I didn't think I'm gonna keep this. I'm gonna keep the speed at 65. I'm just gonna leave it at 65. We'll get there at least within the hour, but I'm not gonna try to go faster than 65. Now there's a pond that's next to the camping ground, and I'm gonna be able to take the sailboat out and the speedboat out tomorrow. So I can show you the speedboats and the sailboats that we sell at ProTinkerToys.com, because the Compass sailboat is really awesome. I can't wait to put that in the water. That's just a fun, you could just sit there and just sail that all day long. The Compass sailboat, get it right now. Go to ProTinkerToys.com. Buy the Compass sailboat. It's very easy. You put it in the water, you change the jib, and boom, you're in the water and you're sailing all day long, baby. Then when I buy my sailboat next year, we're gonna be selling the camper and getting a sailboat, and we're gonna be sailing on Lake Erie.
I have a big feeling that you're not gonna do that.
Oh, I am doing that.
That's insane.
No, it's not insane. Well, I might keep this and just buy a sailboat. I know that because I know that. Well, you could.
Unless you stay in a penthouse, but no.
We could sail it down the East Coast, come through the St. Lawrence Seaway. Well, we are. If I say we are, we are. So, so we're going to do the Compass and my speedboat. And those are all available at ProTinkerToys.com.
Mike is asking if your phone's working.
Which phone? Both my phones are working. All right, let me explain to you. I have 2 phones. One phone is 419-552-1766. That's the phone that I'm pointing at right now. The phone that I'm pointing over here, that's my regular phone, 419-575-3776. I hope everybody understands that. Well, you can call me on 419-575-3776 after the live stream. I know, I forgot. I'm sorry, Mike.
fishing while they do the boat. Yeah, we are having a all day every day. Please hold on.
Why are you gonna play in his iPad?
Because mine's at 100%.
Can't have it until it's at 100. So that's what's going on here. We got a lot of fun things going on. I'm doing a live stream, which everybody for some reason has to watch my live streams. I've got to learn to do this really quick. I don't know why people, here's what I don't understand. I don't know why people think dentures, they're just, you know, you're putting them in mouth. It's like putting glasses on. Why don't people freak out if you put your glasses on? I think that's ridiculous. So anyways, I have my daughter Mandy, and then I have my daughter-in-law Jessie, okay? Both of them are very sweet, okay? They both have great kids, and I think I'm causing a lot of tension between them. Jessie doesn't know, she basically, and I don't want to make excuses for her, but obviously she's in America and she's been here a year now, so she's getting used to a lot of things, but there's things that she doesn't know English yet, so there's things that she doesn't understand, and our culture is completely different than Mexico. Completely different. And that is a thing that my other daughter-in-law, Mandy, maybe understands, maybe doesn't, but it's a class, you know, it's a oil and water type situation. And I'm a type of guy that, you know what, can we just all just get, it's like in the movie, what's that, Mars Attack with Mars Attacks with Jack Nicholson, and he's the president. He goes, can't we all just get along? There's a funny thing I found out, that when Mars Attacks was being made, and the director, you're not allowed to kill off Jack Nicholson. So the director created two parts for Jack Nicholson, okay? And he killed both Jack Nicholsons in the movie. Oh, it's so funny. I told you not to eat my popcorn. You want to play your iPad?
Yep.
Then don't touch Dad's popcorn. So my daughter-in-laws, you know, they're both of them are striving for my approval. You know, they want to make sure that I'm happy, okay, and which creates some friction. Now, I look at things from a very optimistic type of view. You know, if they're both jealous of me, or they want to, then I think that's a good thing. See, my opinion, this is my opinion, okay? My opinion is that between the ages of 10 and 18 is the only time I really can have time with my grandkids, is between 10 and 18. Now, I mean, from 0 to 10, yeah, I can spend some time with them, but they're still learning things, and you know, they're not really wanting to hang around with grandpa, and maybe they are, maybe they're not. But between 10 and 18, once they hit 18, I'm done. I'm gone. I'm out of there. Not permanently, but I'm out of their lives, you know, 80% of the time. And so I only have 10 years of my life to give them. And that's important for both of them to understand that these 10 years from the age of 10 to 18 are really my years and Kathy's years. That we have to do as much as we can during those 10 years, that when they grow up, hey, I remember doing this with my grandfather. I remember doing this with my grandfather. I remember doing this with my grandfather. You know, their dad, yeah, they could have fun with their dad. They're with their dad all the time. So they can, you know, Ryan was with me all the time. Okay? And he spent time with Mac at M&M camp. And so I want them both to understand that, you know, that the time they spend with me from now until 18 is really their most important time, really. That's all there is to it. You cannot misjudge that importance. And so we've got a lot of fun things going on at ProTinkerToys.com. I am driving to Cape Coral to go see Kevin tonight. We are pulling into our campground that's at Cape Coral. What's the name of it?
Tranquility Lakes.
Tranquility Lakes. That was the crater that we landed in Apollo 11. Tranquility Lakes. Apollo has landed. And so we're going to go to that campground and keep the camper, because Kevin lives in a what do you call it? An HOV, you know, a homeowners association, and they don't allow campers down the street, which is stupid, but you know. So we have to stay down. We have to stay down by the river in the van, or down by the, let's see, what is it? Down by the road, let's see, down by the river in a van. That's what we have to do, because I can't keep the camper at Kevin's. So I have to keep the camper at this campground. We don't know yet. We're going to play it at ear. We're going to play it by ear the first day. And then the second day, if we want to come back each night, I just don't know how long it's... We're just going to play it by ear.
Me and Kevin should have a little boys' day.
You might be able to even sleep in the boat. Because Kevin's got it all hooked up.
Now, why would we sleep in the boat?
Just to have an extra place to sleep.
Doesn't it get really cold at night? And especially because the boat doesn't have like any air conditioning down there.
It does have air conditioning.
Oh yeah, but it takes out like so much gas.
Not any more than the camper. I spent the night in the camper last night. I went to bed around 11:30. I was listening to one of my sci-fi stories, and then I went to bed pretty good. I mean, it was kind of cool, and I fell asleep. I wasn't hot or anything. I just fell asleep. And then I woke up at about 1:30, and I was sweating. I was very hot and everything. You know, why all of a sudden am I hot? So I decided to turn the generator on. And it ran all night long from, well, not all, it ran from about 1:30 till I got up around 7. I think it used about a gallon of gas. which if you really stop and think about it, it's like $4. So I mean, it's not like I'm losing money. I mean, I just spent $1 to spend the night in, you know. But the generator, you know, it kicked on, and the everything was on, and I had air conditioning, and so that got me over the night. Karen made a great breakfast. Jim. So here's what happened last night. So we get there and we plug the camper into his 110 outlet. Well, it's drawing too much power. Then all of a sudden, so we was running that light for an hour. Then all of a sudden, the power cord was getting hot. And so he unhooked it, but then all of a sudden his air conditioning wasn't working. And so, you know, they're thinking, oh no, what did we do? Did we blow a fuse because the camper? No, because the camper was on a different circuit. Well, so they call this guy and he says, well, where are your 2 units? And so the outside condenser, there was nothing wrong with the air condenser. So I had to go up into the attic. Well, Jim went into the attic first, and then I came up after him, and I was talking to this guy on the phone. I said, can you turn around can you turn your camera on so I can show you? Because I saw this like U-piece of PVC that had a sensor in it, and it wasn't even attached to the air conditioning unit. It was just laying there. Well, that doesn't seem right. That should be somewhere. It should be in that hole there. Well, here comes, and then so the guy on the phone said, yeah, that's not supposed to be like that. That's supposed to be hooked up, and the sensor should be not vertical, but just a little bit tilted, so it can sense the water that's coming through there and shut off. Well, sure enough, as soon as I put that thing back in and tilted that sensor, air conditioning came right on. Right on. It came right on. I mean, it came so right on, it came right on. And so it wasn't my fault. And I told Karen, man, it looks nice around here. Wow, you got good air conditioning. Good thing I was here to fix it. Good thing I was here to fix it. See, I don't claim to know everything. I claim to know 97% of what needs to be known. You know what I'm saying? You know, it's like my brother about 5-10 years ago. I think it's about 10 years now. He was going to buy a car. This is when we had the RAV4, which is probably the best crossover, and the CRV. And I told Tim, I said, buy yourself a RAV4. Well, they didn't. They bought a Ford Escape. And they had problems with it nonstop. But the RAV4 was probably the RAV4. Now that's a typical car that they screwed up. They got rid of the rear tire. Okay, and that was a distinct, when you saw the rear tire on the back of a RAV4, you knew that was a RAV4. Well, they got rid of it. Dumbest thing they have ever done. And then the next vehicle, that's probably the best vehicle you want to buy, is a CRV. They're just indestructible. They last forever. Okay, now here is a souped up Jeep. Man, that's a water vehicle. Wow, we're coming up to a huge bridge. Oh my gosh, this thing's taller than the one we just went over. Holy moly. Yeah, you see those poles way out there? Oh my gosh.
I'm not even gonna look.
Oh, I wouldn't. I wouldn't look at all, David.
Stop.
I would not even look up. Keep your head down. Keep your head down. There we go. Oh, he looked up.
There's a bridge.
No kidding, Sherlock. So we've got a big sale going on at ProTinkerToys.com. This 4th of July sale, you know, you want to buy kids something for Christmas or for sometime, you want to do it now at ProTinkerToys.com. Yeah, Jaguar sales have plummeted 91% because of their new advertising campaign. You wonder why these companies are so stupid. How did they become so stupid? I can't read some of these text messages because they're moving too fast, and I want to try to keep my hands on the steering wheel. I don't really want to look too much off of the they went woke. Yeah, no kidding. No kidding, Sherlock. No kidding. Oh.
Dada. Dada.
So, we're now heading to Kevin's. He's got the big boat. We're going to be on the water on Saturday. Probably every day he'll take us out. We're going to do some live streams. I'm going to do some shorts. I'm going to do a lot of shorts. And we'll have a lot of fun. Here comes a Lamborghini. There's a Lamborghini right there. That's a Lamborghini.
You're not a firework that's lit.
Yeah, it's much cooler now in the camper. The window was open, and so all the cold air was going right in here and out the window. Unbelievable. Then lock it there, woman.
I can't.
Then what do you mean? You just flip that switch down.
I've always had this problem.
No, you don't. Not if you shut it right. So I am in my camper, my little man cave. Yo ho, the pirate's life for me. Yo ho, the pirate's life for me. So we are headed to our campground. It's really a resort. I have no idea how big this thing or what this looks like.
Look at that giant pond.
The KOA is further away.
But why don't we just stay at Kevin's?
We can't keep the camper there.
Yeah, but like, why don't you just keep the campground at the campground and we'll just stay at Kevin's?
We are.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
What? What's unbelievable, Dad?
Well, how small your brain is sometimes.
I'm leaving.
Good.
What?
Good, leave.
No.
Unbelievable. Well, I don't know what to tell you guys. I told my other daughter-in-law, which is Mandy, and so I have two daughter-in-laws, Mandy and Jessica. I told Mandy, listen, you know, you've lived in that house for what, 4 or 5 years, I think? How long have they lived in that house? The house they live in now. 5 years, 6 years? Before COVID, right? And I said, you never invite us out or invite us over for dinner. You know, we had Mom and Mac over all the time. Okay? All the time. And Mom and Mac would invite us over for dinner too. And she said, well, you know what, Catherine wants to come, then Daniel doesn't have to come every time. Just invite us over. It's not a family dinner every time. So I can get and talk to Ryan sometimes. Ryan just needs to have conversation. Ryan is freaking out because it's mattress store. And this is what happened, you know, and I don't want to go into detail about this, but this is what happens when you start, well, I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to go there. If you want to call me later, I'll explain to you my thing. Anyway, I said, just call us over for dinner. Just say, hey, come over for dinner. We'll come over. Because obviously we're seeing more of Mac, Samuel, and Larry because we live right in the same town that they have. So there's that, you know. Obviously I do more with Jesse because Jesse lives next to me. You know? I don't have any animosity. I mean, I'm not upset. I'm not frustrated. You know, it's just the way it is. I've only got 20 years. Maybe 30. I could go to, 30 years, I'm going to be 95. That's what happened. And you don't know if I'm going to have all 30 years. Now, I think God told me that I'm going to live to 100. Okay, I think He's guaranteed to me that I'm going to live to be 100. So if I can live to be 100, at least I'll have 30 years. I'll have 30 years with my grandkids. Because in 30 years, so in when I'm 95, Cameron, David, and most of the grandkids will be in their 20s and 30s. In 30 years, Cameron will be 41. He might already have a kid. Ryan will be in his 50s. Mandy loves the what do you call it? The pomp and circumstance. Is that the word you call it? Pomp and circumstance? Mandy loves all that. Jesse does too, but you know, the cultures are different. You have the Mexican culture. The first birthday in Mexico is just the thing. Okay? And so you got Larry and Samuel, they're turning 1 year old in already. They're a year old already. I'm only going to have 20 years of them. 30 years from now, they'll be 31 years old. And I'll be 95. Now, it all depends on how mobile I'll be. Am I going to look like William Shatner at 95, or am I going to look like Dick Van Dyke at 95? He's 100. Dick Van Dyke's 100. Clint Eastwood's 95. Do I want to look like Clint Eastwood or William Shatner? I'd like to rather look like William Shatner. You know? That's life. You're all like that. But I only have 10 years with my grandkids. 10 years. Because once they turn 18 and they graduate high school, they're not going to want to see their grandfather for a while. So by then, you know, they're going to be 19. They're not going to want to have anything to do with their grandfather. Okay? They're growing up, man. They're their own man. So by the time they want to see me, I'm going to be 85, 90. That's what I got to get Mandy and Jesse to understand. That these years right now, the first 10 years are your years. Your mom are the mom years, the first 10 years. Those are your years. You cuddle them, you nurse them, you bathe them, you party them and everything. 10 to 18 is my years. My years. I'm just telling you, if you don't want to believe me, that's your business. I'm just telling you the truth. I'm telling you the facts. The first 10 years are the mother's years. The second 10 years are the grandfather and the grandmother years. And that's just the way it is. You know? How do you get around that? I don't know. You can't. I'm just telling you the facts of life and how things roll out in a sense. Because your lives are spent in 10 years increments. That's all there is to it. They're literally spent in 10-year increments. And I don't care what anybody says, that's what they are. They're 10-year increments. And depending on when you have children, is either that 10 years is going to extend by 10 or it's going to go back by 10. I started having kids when I was 26. Kathy was, 6 years younger. She was 21. So her 10 years expanded a little bit, and mine was shortened a little bit. I don't know why these semis want to move so fast. This guy's crazy. So, all the things my grandson and granddaughters are going to learn are going to be the next 10 years. And so the more they spend with me, the more they're going to see that. Their dad, they're going to have their whole lives. And they get to spend with them 24/7. They only get to spend with me on certain occasions. Now, some some parents and some kids, they don't want their kids around their grandparents at all. I know some that aren't around their grandkids at all. My three with Lincoln. You know, Ulysses and Kaiser and Rohana and Kaiser. I'm not going to see them at all. I'm not going to see them at all. They're not going to know about Grandpa Young at all. Which is really sad. I mean, really sad. I don't know why this phone is bopping around so much. So that's basically my dilemma right now. Bryan used to go with me on a lot of my trips. Him and Jared Feuds. Went to a lot of shows in Philadelphia. You got Cameron and Mason. I got Lane. See, I've always broken their lives down into 10 years. The whole thing is by 10 years. And when you look at it in that aspect, it's all kind of pretty clearly laid out. There's no compilation of it. It's just 10 years. The first 10 years is you're a baby, you don't even know you exist. The first 5 years, you have no idea that you are who you are. All of a sudden, you realize that you wake up in the morning, but you don't know that it's any day. And then once you start understanding that there's days, then your first 10 years, you're learning. And then you have your second 10 years, which is your exploring years, your research years. You're figuring out, who am I? What do I want to do? Where am I going? Then when you turn to be 18, you graduate. Now what do I want to do? See how fast things are going? Now you decide, well, am I going to go to college or am I going to take a trade? More kids need to go into the trade. skip college. Screw college. Just go right into a trade. Run a small business. So that second 10 years is your development year. Your I call it the Lewis and Clark. You're exploring. You're setting your flag somewhere. Now sometimes you might get married in that 10 years. That's when your family starts. And so then after your family starts with the first child is your 20 years of, I don't want to call it bondage, but your 20 years of settlement. You're now settling your what do you want to call it? You're basically a trailblazer. You're heading across the wide open Midwest, and you're setting you finally got a kid, and you're going to build a log cabin, and now you're going to spend your next 20 years building your house. You're having all your children in that time frame, and then by then you're going to be in your 50s and 60s. Now back then, 50s and 60s, you're dead. You're dead, basically. If the Indians haven't got you, or if something else hasn't got you, that's why you had so many kids. You had so many kids. Then after that tenure, nowadays we're living to be our 80s and 90s, 95. I want to be 95. Unless all of a sudden God says, no, Bryan, you're going home quick right now. He's going to take me. If not, I'm going to live to be 95 to be 100. And so that means I got 35 years left to now do a second exploring. Maybe my grandkids want to hang around with me more often. I don't know. But that's the way it is. That's the way everything lives. You cannot change it. You cannot alter it. You just have to literally follow it. And the more people understand that, the better they are. And you can take all the pictures. I've got a shelving unit, or not shelving, but a cabinet in our house, boxes full of pictures. And I've been telling Kathy to spend months and months. She's got all these pictures that were sent back from Connecticut. Get them out of the boxes, put them into albums, or I don't care, create some montages, and then send them to all your brothers and sisters. But get them out of the house. We've got thousands of pictures. Thousands. It never ends. It never ends. So what do you do? What do you do? You know, it's like, okay, what do you do now? You know, I think Mom threw away all the old home videos of us. I don't think she wanted any of those. I just thought of that. And I'm thinking to myself, what happened to all the movies that we made as kids? I think Mom threw them away. And then all the ones she did with Mac made tons of movies. 8mm was the #1 way of making a movie back in the 60s and the 70s. I made so many. I even bought well, you've seen some of the videos I've got. I want to do some more of those videos. I've got an 8mm called Kimberly's World, which is really fun because Kim and I did a 1-year thing with Kimberly and Mariah. It was so funny. I need to get that on video or DVD or online. So all I can tell you is that the more I spend time with my grandkids, the more, let's put it this way, there should be never a limit of how much time I spend with my grandkids. There should never be a limit. Never. There should never be a limit. because the dad's with the kids all the time. I'm only with them like on weekends or if on a special event or if I want to take them someplace. That's why they love going to the movies with me. Cameron and Mason. Now Lane, when Lane gets a little older, and now right now it's just I'm taking the boys. Now pretty soon I probably should take the girls, Mariah or Kimber, and then you never know. All of a sudden Lane might want to start coming, and that's what's so important about memories. I have like 5 good memories of my dad. 5 really good times with my dad. One where he made me a Pinewood Derby for Cub Scouts when we lived in Burlington, Iowa. And there's one thing my dad, he never wanted to come second. He always wanted to win. That's why he was so good at what he did. And then the next time was when we went on the boat. He had a nice boat. And then later in his life, I took him to the movies, and I also took him to get him a TV. We just had some fun times together. I don't think my dad understood me. I was one of those odd children when I was young. I burnt my bedroom down. I took the doors off the hinges. I was just a strange child. And so my dad really kind of never understood me. And Mac, I think he understood me. I think he looked at me and like, this kid he likes to do odd things. He just likes to, he's a builder and a doer. And I don't know why I'm talking so much. Maybe this is boring. I don't know. All I know is this is ProTinkerToys.com, and I'm Bryan Young, and I am going to my brother-in-law's house for 4th of July. His wife passed away, Linda, 4 weeks ago, or maybe a month ago, and he's very lonely right now. And I can't imagine how it's been not having his wife after 45 years. So we're going to see them. We're going to see him. And we're going to be doing some videos this Friday. We're going to do a 4th of July in the evening. We're going to do of the fireworks. We're going to have a good 4th of July. I'm going to use my iPad to capture those videos. And other than that, I think that's about it. Well, guys, I think I've had enough show today. I hope everybody enjoyed it. We had 15 watchers, 15 thumbs up. And we're coming into Cape Coral. And we're about 1.5 miles away from my exit. I always want to tell people thank you very much for supporting our store. We're a mom and pop store, ProTinkerToys.com. We sell just about everything you can imagine. If you're ever looking for an RC car and you don't know what to get, just go to our website, check out IMAX, the Shogun, the Big Bear, the Katana, all the RC cars. We have great RC cars. And we want to thank everybody for supporting ProTinkerToys.com. We got big sales going on for the 4th of July. Don't forget the big deals that are going on. And Want to thank everybody for watching. Oh, excuse me. There's a frog around here somewhere. Oh, but where'd that frog come from? Unbelievable. Well, I don't know what to do.
How much might I go down?
12 miles. 54%. What is the abbreviation for FK? What is FK?
I don't know.
FK Your Diet Restaurant. They've got a FK Your Diet Restaurant. What does that mean? FK.
Well,
Would it be what I think it is?
that's what I would think. FK, your diet restaurant. Fort Myers.
Why would you have an FK Your Diet place? How does that make sense?
Why, did someone say that in chat or something? No, it's
No, it's on the sign of the road on the restaurant. The sign is FK Your Diet Restaurant.
Let's see, what does FK stand for? As a foster kid, that's what the FK stands for. I introduced to a number of different chefs growing up. Foster mom chefs, to be honest. They were some of the most horrible chefs in the world. 9 out of 10 days, the meals were awful by foster moms. On the 10th day, the clouds would part and there'd be an intermittent cracker. If you're young enough, they thought it was the original picnic dress. This meal would be fit for a king. I spent 12 years as a traveling foster kid. Each new home had a new chef to stretch taste buds. Some not, but most were not. I never had much growing up, but I was fed. I didn't have the latest of anything, coolest clothes.
What are you talking?
I'm telling you what FK stands for. Foster kid. And he said,
No, how-
so the food was a big thing to me. On a good meal day, I was like everyone else.
Yeah, but FK Your Diet?
Those meals are the
I don't think you're reading that right.
okay. I was like everyone else. I feel those meals were the best. And those are the ones I chose to be on our menu. I hope that it will make you the same way. After high school, I used my experience and training as a foster kid to start a career in sales. It was a rewarding, challenging career that allowed me to afford a great life. If you ask me how I'm doing, I always answer living my dream. I got married, a couple of sons, and started showing my love really cooked for were the ones who had it tough. The poor kids, like I was.
Okay, dear, I'm sorry. That doesn't make any sense.
So, okay, I'll get here. Amy and my
FK your
girlfriend
diet.
decided to retire in Florida at the ripe old age of 45 after taking a year and a half off. We decided to open FK Your Diet to showcase foster kid food and give back to the community. 5% of our revenues are donated to foster kids. Not only will you get a great meal, but you will also be helping make other children feel better. Thank you for honoring me as your foster parent while you're in our restaurant.
That's
So FK means foster kid. By eating at FK's Your Diet, you are giving back to local foster children 5% of the revenue. Yeah, I know anyone looks at it, will think the other thing. So that's why they wrote this story.
really.
Foster kid diet. It's the meals that he liked as a foster kid compared to the ones he didn't. Because in every 10 meals, only one was good. 1 out of 9 meals. Those are the ones he chose. That's what's on his book.
Well, Wildlife Crossing, next 2 miles. I can never understand wildlife crossings. Do they know how to read? Do they know that, okay, this is where we're allowed to cross? I never could understand why they, like deer crossing. What, does deer know that, hey guys, we're allowed to cross here? Does that make any sense to anybody? Deer crossing, you know, they don't know how to read. How do they know how to read? I wonder if animals do know how to read. I wonder if dogs, when they see a sign, that they know that that's food, or they understand what we're talking about. You know, we're sitting there talking and everything, the dogs are looking at each other and say, well, these animals, these humans are stupid. Man, can you believe it? I don't know, that's just my opinion. What are you talking about?
In your life, multi-credit wants to know what families are feuding.
What families are feeding?
Feuding.
Oh, my feuding. No, it's my daughter-in-law, Mandy. My daughter-in-law, Mandy, is, she's upset with Jesse, and Jesse's upset with her. It's all about the birthday parties. It's really, to me, nothing. I got 5 grandkids that were born in July, and they all should have their birthday on the same day, and that should be the tradition. Now, if you want to do a small little party yourself, that's fine. But we should all do one big birthday, okay, where all 5 of them have the same birthday on one day. I can spoil them all at the same time and do it that way. That's what it should be done.
Jesse wants first birthday celebration with twins. And then Cameron's having a birthday party with his friends.
At 9 o'clock in the evening.
First birthday party he has friends invited.
Oh, so what? He's going to have 5 more, 10 more.
He's having and Mandy asked months ago if it would work to do this. And it's after hours of the Super Bowl, they have to run it at 11, 9, 10, 15.
You like 10 minutes.
That we're almost to the campground.
We're almost to the campground. We're 7.1 miles.
She says their family is always something.
It's always somebody's not being happy. I frankly don't care because I do enough for Cameron and Mason. Yeah, all right, we're going to see you later.